Hey folks, Jer here on Wednesday the 14th of September with the news. Watched Champions League last night. It's not great anymore, is it? It's a bit dull. Same with the Spanish League at the weekend. It's just a bit meh. I miss Leeds playing. I really do. Can we get back to that? There's a little bit of news and hopefully there's a stopgap game to keep us all entertained while we're waiting for Leeds to come back. And we'll start off with that. So the under-21s are in action on Friday night, a 7 p.m. kickoff against Southampton, and Michael Scubala is looking at naming a very, very, very strong Leeds team. Liam Cooper, Pat Bamford, Luke Ayling, Junior Firpo, Darko JB, Sonny Perkins, and Willie Gnonto all expected to have some part in that game. There are 7,000 tickets sold for that game so far. They are still on sale. I think it's £6 for adults and £3 concessions for anyone that wants to go. The club have said they are open to opening more stands in the ground as well. This could be the first ever sellout for an under-21s game at Elland Road, which would be great. It would be great. Now I've got to find out how I watch it on TV, because LUTV doesn't show games really anymore, except with highlights after the fact. So got to figure that one out. But that'll be an interesting one. It'd be nice to see Willie Gnonto actually in action in that game, and great to see Junior Firpo, Pat Bamford, and Luke Ayling getting more minutes, or coming back from injuries. Darko JB just continues to show how good he is. We saw videos of him during the week doing his own training and stuff as well. So very highly talked about behind the scenes at Leeds, and is doing a really, really good job there. And Sonny Perkins, who's been outstanding. I don't know why Darko JB and Sonny Perkins are included in this article as going to start for the 21s, considering they have started every game for the 21s. And people like Mateo Joseph and Archie Gray aren't included in that. But yeah, that's the situation. 7 p.m. Southampton, Friday night. Go see it if you're in the area. If you're not, help me find a place where I can go and watch it. All right. Moving on then to first team action, and Jesse Marsch will serve his touchline ban for improper conduct against Aston Villa on the 2nd of October. Marsch would have served a ban against Nottingham Forest, only for that game being postponed, and then the Manchester United game being postponed, and now here we are. So Aston Villa on the 2nd, he will have his touchline ban. Not the worst game to be off the touchline. You could see some stuff with him and Gerrard on the line, so maybe better not have him in the situation there for that one. So that's that one. Carabao Cup information, and Leeds have finally got a date for their Carabao Cup match against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It will take place on Tuesday the 8th of November at a 7:45 kickoff in Molineux. That has just been released yesterday, I believe. Moving on then to some information around the players in the Leeds squad, and Jamie Shackleton is quoted by Leeds Live today as saying that he has seen Archie Gray do things in training that he's not seen from a 16-year-old. Archie's obviously doing a fantastic job, pushing himself into the senior side of Leeds. He's 16 years of age, highly expected to make his senior debut this season, and continues to show in the 21 team why he is so good and why he is so highly thought of. He has had a couple of little niggles this year that meant he's missed out on a few games and a couple of illnesses, but looks like he's back training full time with the squad again, and it's great to see him. And nice to see players around the Leeds squad and who've just left the Leeds squad talking about the young players that are in the team. So we all have high hopes for Archie Gray. Fingers crossed we can keep Man City away from him, because they're said to be looking at him. Moving on then, some very unusual news, and there's a couple of bits I've left out of today that are floating around, like Leeds being linked with Joe Pedro, Watford in January again. It comes from MOT Leeds, which means it's probably not true. And Leeds have already said they weren't interested in the player, but he keeps getting dragged up, so I'm assuming it's his agent leaking information again, so we're not going to talk about that. But we're going to go on to talk about Gary Weaver, Sky Sports commentator, who says that Leeds, get this, Leeds are eyeing Ryan Lowe, the Preston manager, as a potential replacement for Jesse Marsch should he leave at any point. They said that the club always have a list of managers because they could lose a manager to a new job, or they could let the manager go on pretty short notice. And we know Jesse Marsch was on a Leeds list for a while for a potential replacement for Bielsa. They had planned to replace Bielsa with him this season. But it's interesting to see Leeds looking at somebody like Ryan Lowe, whose style of play isn't very like Marsch and Bielsa. He does play an attacking form of football at Preston, but not what you would call a high-pressing team. So it's an interesting one to see where that one's coming from. But yeah, apparently they have a list of replacements all the time, and if it's a situation like with Brighton, who lost their manager to Graham Potter to Chelsea, they have the players, managers lined up for that. So Ryan Lowe, Preston, what do you think of it? I'm like, no, not for me. Let me know what you think yourselves in the comments, but I'd be shocked if that became, unless he does something spectacular with Preston, but wait and see. And then lastly, a bit of 49ers, Charles de Ketelaere. Yes, Charles de Ketelaere, whose name is still popping around in Leeds circles. The 49ers, apparently, news came out this morning from Phil Hay that the 49ers had offered to pay some of the fee towards signing de Ketelaere, and how they would recoup that money would be taking that fee off of the overall valuation of Leeds should they decide to buy out the club in 2024. It's also said by Phil Hay in this article that Radrizzani has no intentions of selling the club and is determined to remain as the major shareholder. If that is the case, and I have no problem with that, by the way, I think Radrizzani's management of Leeds has been excellent. Spending money is a different conversation, but the management of the club, we've got no debt right now, which Forbes showed last week, which is fantastic to see. But if he is going to remain as the primary owner of Leeds, and he needs to find cash injection from somewhere, because he clearly doesn't have the capital himself to put in. This year has proven that. So we'll have to make sure that he has other capital coming in from somewhere else, which means share sales, and that will trigger a buyout at some point with 49ers if he goes below their share amount. So we'll have to see what happens there. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But apparently they were interested. They're willing to pay some of the money towards Charles de Ketelaere. But ultimately the player wanted to go to AC Milan anyway, so wouldn't have happened. So folks, that's it. Short and sweet today, in and out. And I will see you tomorrow for more news. Bye.